Hello, hello, and welcome to the Introvert Social Hour. Today, we are talking about living in the moment. Y'all know I love a good introspective conversation sometimes, while we have silly ones or more like, entertainment-based ones. I was like, this is a solid thing to talk about, and I'm so excited to bring on Sherra today. This is your
My,
first time.
my first time with the incredible Introvert Social Hour. I love it. I'm
Yes,
excited.
I'm so excited to introduce you to the audience. So, first off, let me just let them know like how I know you. So one, Cher and I, we both dance together at Ailey Extension. So for those who don't know, I do dance and such. I've talked about that before in other podcast episodes, and so that's how we originally met each other. Specifically, I think we first really started getting to know each other more when we started dancing through sacred songs,
Yes.
which was an amazing experience. But also, it was just like amazing to also see so many people coming together from so many different, as the term is usually said, like walks of life.
Yeah.
We're all in different stages of where we are, and it was just so beautiful to see like a person's choice of why they come back to dance, or what if they even left in the first place, or
Exactly.
I think that's the beautiful thing about Ailey Extension in the first place.
I
Overall, I just really
agree. I
thought Sacred Songs
concur.
was special.
I definitely
Yeah.
concur. Yay.
Mhm.
Stop. Sorry, everybody. You got the doggies.
No, you're good. I like you. Like, hold up, let me be up in here too. This is my
Exactly. They
moment.
want to be part of the podcast. But yes, it's been a joy meeting folks like you at the extension. And the friendships grow deep. They grow very, very deep. We
That's
really
true.
do have a sisterhood here for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, no, seriously. Like
Or
we've been through
peoplehood.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's true. I wanted to first get into um you kind of giving yourself an intro. I wanted you to talk about how you first got into dance.
Oh,
If you
sure.
could bring that up a little bit.
Oh, wow. It's been a journey. I'm old. I'm a whole lot older than I look, everybody. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I actually started dancing at 3. I danced professionally up until about 26, but I always had this love for the sciences. And so while I was doing my dance degree, I was also doing a computer science degree. So by about 26, I went full into computer engineering. And then in my 40s, I was like, something's missing. Like I just didn't have that joy. It was just gone from who I was. And I was like, you need to go back to dance. And I literally started walking and then went into yoga to sort of just kind of get myself there. Got certified, and I knew when I was ready. And when I was ready, Ailey's was very much a home for me. I had met Judith Jameson and had the opportunity to train with her and dance with her while I was in college. And so Ailey's was a natural choice for me. So yeah, 12 years later, I'm back and meeting great people like you, Kavana, in class and performing with you. It's been awesome.
Yes, thank you. Because I, of course, we've talked about it, but I was like, I think this would be good for, the audience to hear because it's
Yeah.
kind of going to go roll into what we're talking about today.
Yes.
Of like, why do we make those choices? To,
Mm,
hey, something doesn't feel right. Who says that I can't go back to dance, or who says that I have to be in this specific moment at this specific time?
correct.
And I wanted
Correct.
to reflect on that. So, thank you for that.
You're
Um,
welcome.
I want to say, so I want to kind of move into a little bit of like the dance aspect of things and how we roll into that. But
Hmm.
I am curious of when you hear live in the moment, what does that mean to you? Like, what does, and also like, what kind of emotions does that bring out when you're considering that as well?
When you first mentioned this topic to me, I really had to take pause because a lot of times when people say living in the present, they think like, I'm in the present. I'm like, right here. This is where I am. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm here. I'm in the present. And you know what came to me? What came to me was a tree. And I went, a tree is standing still, but it's still growing. It's still reacting to the wind. It's still feeling the sun on its leaves. And so when I think about being present, I think of myself as a tree, very rooted, well grounded. I'm here. You can't miss me. But I'm still alive. I'm still moving. So I think about that when I think about living in the present. And I think about what allows me to live in that moment, and all the things that I had to evolve past to really treasure and embrace the very statement of living in the present. So I have a poem for you around evolving that
Ah,
I can read. But
yes.
that's what I think of. And
Okay.
by the way, everyone, my dogs were super quiet. And as soon as I started doing this, they were, sorry.
I, they're like, hey, what about us? Like, where was
They're in
our
the
invite,
present.
Kayvana? Yeah. I'm like, how do you feel about different types of dog food? Like,
Yeah,
tell me your
exactly,
opinion.
exactly, exactly.
But yes, I'm definitely. I won't forget, but definitely remind me if I do forget, just in case in regards to the poem. But
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I like that concept of like it happens when you're feeling rooted and you're feeling grounded. I think for me, as someone who I'm like now 2 years away from hitting 30, and I'm like, what's I think you get so stressed out about the future when you're in your 20s. And so for me, I look at like your examples and I look at everybody else's examples and I'm like, things don't have to be rushed. You can like exist in the now. Like yes, the future is important, but what like are you if you look back, when I'm, older and I look back and like did I do it right is not necessarily the word, but do I feel was I would I regret anything that I didn't do, for example.
Right,
So
right.
I think that's where I'm at in I wouldn't necessarily, which is so interesting why I like the idea of like being a tree and feeling rooted, because I feel right now I don't feel as rooted as I probably could be, but I do feel a sense of I I believe in what I'm doing and where I may go. Like I'm trusting the process, if that makes sense, which is
Yes,
nice.
yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, when I think about this tree, but it's still evolving. It's still growing. It's
it's
still
growing.
moving.
Yeah.
And I think the key for me, even as I look back on my life,
Mm,
um, that it was really the journey of knowing exactly who I was. It's that
mm,
intent. I'm still figuring it out, right? Like every day I'm like, oh, wait, I just discovered something new about myself or some residue that I let go so I could evolve and
mm,
continue to become who I am, right? I always say we become who we are, period,
yeah.
right? So I think, like if I were to go back to my 20s, it was that journey of knowing myself. And so those moments of being present celebrated that very thought and that very intent. You know,
Mm,
who am I in this moment? And I remember in my 20s, I remember it like it was yesterday. It wasn't. I was probably about 22, and these four words came to me:
mm,
truth, intent, balance, and patience. Patience could be intertwined with faith. And for me, you find these words that signify something and it allows you to pull yourself in. So for me,
mm,
truth is God, right? Like, my concept of God is simple. It's like it's truth. And intent is my connected to it. So if you think of this energy that is God, how are you connecting to it? How are you connecting to the things that are bigger and greater than self?
mm.
Right? So we live in this vast universe. In fact, it's a multi-universe system.
Yeah.
And there are many universes out there, right? So it's
Mm,
infinite, right? And the balance. So all of these things I'm thinking about as I am present. It's like balance for me is, you know, what are the choices that I'm making in the very moment? Am I balanced? Am I off kilter? Like what's going on here? And patience is knowing that it it's already occurred. Like like I'm very much like a quantum mechanics like person. Like my brother who passed away, God bless him, he just from a young age, like 9, I was reading stuff on quantum mechanics. Like he was
oh.
so determined that I would have this other perspective. So
Mm,
again, when being present, you give yourself some keys to it. So when I was in my 20s, those were the keys. It was those 4 words.
Mm.
And it became like a breath for me. Like when I was, anxious, or, there's just so much coming at me in this world, and I'm just like, what's the truth? What's my intent? Am I balanced? Do I understand the choices I'm making? And do I believe that it really is just a small blip? This is a small blip in time. This very podcast is a small blip in time.
That's
So
true.
again, being present is how you build up your awareness about everything you are and where you're standing in this moment.
I am curious when you do those 4 check-ins, like truth, intent, balance, patience,
Mm-hmm.
when what lets you know you are balanced? Like what is something that's like, okay, I'm good? Because I think about that all the time too, in regards to just like I was just talking to my friends about this. Like
Mm.
we were talking about the word settled. Like,
Yeah.
do we feel settled? How do we know that we're settled? And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with balance. And I'm just curious of your take on that.
I think, balance is interesting. It's like, hey, um, what are the choices I'm making in this moment and why?
Mm.
Right? So if I feel upset or I feel anxious, I do check in and I go, why? And so I'm balanced when I fully understand. I'm not even asking why anymore. I'm just breathing.
Mm.
The why just goes away. The who, the
Yeah,
what, the why, the when, all that, all those
all the
questions in your head,
questions.
they go away. And that's when I know I'm balanced, because I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be
Mm.
in that moment. So if I'm constantly questioning and querying, then then I'm not balanced.
Yeah.
It's like that very moment when the bird is soaring through the air and it stops flapping its wings and it's found the current.
Hmm.
It's that very moment. It's balanced. With all that the energy of that wind is giving it, it's balanced. So yeah.
That does make sense though, because and I think you probably like hit a moment where you're like, oh, I haven't thought about this in a minute, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'm good
Yeah.
because that's something that's happened. Got you.
It's like when you get the 3 pirouettes and you go, where all of a
Yes.
sudden you stop thinking. All of a sudden the form was in its most truthful place. You got the form. It's in its most truthful place. And you're spinning, you're
Hmm.
balanced.
Yeah,
It's like the
that's true.
spinning top, right? You
Hmm.
spin that sucker out and it finds its balance. First it's like, whoa, okay, I don't know. Where the hell
Yeah.
am I? And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden I find it.
Yeah.
Balance. There's no
Yeah.
questioning anymore, right? You're just
Mhm.
spinning.
That's true. You're in the moment. So
You're Look at that.
there we go.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Circling back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am so in regards to that then it's like I want to kind of go into moments, like life
Yeah.
moments specifically, where you realize you were living based on, expectation,
Mm.
whether it's self expectation or even external, rather than
Mm-hmm.
what you truly wanted. So whether
Mm-hmm.
that does connect back to, you know, deciding to not dive into dance and then deciding to dive back into dance, or things like that. I'm curious of how that took you there, and then what helped you start choosing yourself.
Ooh. Wow. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah.
Um, the indicators for me, I think it's all about knowing whether you're on your path or not. And then it gets pretty tricky because everything to me is spectrums, like light.
Mhm.
Light is a spectrum. It's not just, oh yeah, so white. No, it's red, orange, green, yellow, whatever,
Yeah,
blue,
all the colors.
indigo, whatever.
Yeah.
Roy Khabib, that's how I used to remember it. Anyhow,
Yes.
um, but it's a spectrum. And
Mhm.
so, like that, I mean, it's a really good question. It's like choosing myself, it it had to feel easy. Like anytime it felt really, really difficult and there were like
Mhm.
super duper obstacles, I was like, this ain't the path. So
Okay.
if I'm on the path and everything is kind of moving like it should, it was a big indicator for me. Like, oh yeah, again, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Mhm.
Shouldn't feel this arduous. It just shouldn't feel so horrible because we're not talking about transitioning. We're talking about whether you made the right choice or not. Now, I'm not saying transition isn't difficult because, I see a caterpillar like fighting its butt off to become a butterfly.
Yeah.
But I do know why while it's a caterpillar and while it's a butterfly, it's doing its thing. It's on its path. And it's not difficult. It's like, yeah, I'm a caterpillar. It's all good, man. I'm just
See what
here on the
happened.
tree, eat my shit. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, wait, it's time for me to become a butterfly. I know it's time. I go into my cocoon, right? I burst out a little bit a little harder because it's a transition. But I don't know, like, how did I know? I mean, I feel like it's just you being aware of that path and aware of how it feels intrinsically to your soul and to your spirit. And if it's a battle, you're in the wrong place. Some
Yeah.
people say, oh, you have to fight for what you want. True. You need to fight to get there. True. But there's a difference between battling a wave and riding a wave.
I get
Okay.
you.
So
Yeah.
I'm still on a wave. I'm still at the beach, but I'm
Mhm.
riding it. Woo, look at me, man. Check it out. As
Mhm.
opposed to like, oh my God, this wave has beat me up. Like, no, this ain't
Struggling.
it. This
Mhm.
ain't it. So I think it's those subtleties that say to me, okay, I'm in the right place at the right time. It even has to do with, how I introduce people's energies into my life. If it's causing me this, it's like, yeah, that's not the energy for me. And I think choices are like that. Is
Yeah.
this a job for me? Is this a husband or the wife for me? Like,
Yeah.
you got to ask yourself those tough questions, and you got to find that happy place, that place that allows you to breathe and therefore allows you to be present. I'm going to bring it back home. You got to be there. Else, it's just everything is a masquerade or an illusion or
Mhm.
you rationalizing something. No, man, it's not supposed to be that hard.
It's
I
true.
mean, think about the people who are being bombed right now in Iran or, you know, Gaza or
Mhm.
Sudan or wherever. I mean, I think of them often. I think of the
Mhm.
people who don't have food, shelter, and water. And I think, wow, well, they still wake up every day with hope and love because they have kids, they have, family, blah, blah, blah. They're still
Mhm.
waking up living their life. So, what are the choices they're making? To go, oh yeah, I know I could just a bomb could fall any minute now, but I'm still gonna wake up, love my kid, and keep things going. There is a choice that they're making that says, no matter how difficult my life is in this moment, it's my life. And I am choosing in this moment the things that will keep me safe and happy. And you
Yeah.
could just expand from there,
Mhm. Yeah.
when I think about it. So, yeah, yeah. I'm, I'm making choices based on how my spirit and soul feels. And if it
Mhm.
doesn't feel right,
Then
mm-mm.
yeah. No, that's very true. Because when you think about certain things, like reflection wise, it's like, does the problem, whatever that problem is, does it have to be a problem, in your life? When you're thinking about people who have like even larger problems,
Yeah.
um, not to, and I always try to remind myself, it's like that doesn't dis, what's the word? I'm like blanking on the word. That doesn't dismiss
Mm-hmm.
your problem, but maybe it's also
Mm-hmm.
good to reflect and consider, like
Yeah.
maybe in that case scenario, um, but that's so true of that reflection on, okay, if they can do that, then I can do that, or
Absolutely. I
vice
mean,
versa.
who feels it knows it, right? That old saying from the Bible. Who feels it knows
Mhm.
it, Lord, right?
Mhm.
So we all carry our own cross and so forth, but we're all here and interconnected. And so you got to be aware of the fact that you might be feeling something, but there's somebody feeling something 100 times worse. It's like living in your apartment or your house, and I'm like, but there's somebody without even shelter. They don't even have the basics.
Yeah.
You actually can get up, go get a glass of water, and rain is falling and you're dry. Like,
Hmm.
you are ahead of the game.
Yeah. Just by that one step. Yeah.
Just that one thing.
Hmm.
Um, so when you're choosing yourself, and in that moment, again, trying to be very present about those choices,
Hmm.
it's a myriad of things that define that,
Very
you
layered.
know,
Yeah, I agree.
very,
Yeah.
very layered.
Yes, for
Mm.
sure, very layered. It made me think back to um when you were speaking about a little bit more earlier
Mm-hmm.
was so for me, what my kind of like light bulb, I guess, moment, like turn on moment was, so I had moved here and I started teaching. I knew teaching wasn't going to be a forever thing, but I started teaching. It ended up not being exactly what I thought coming into it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I ended up kind of being stuck. And so I just remember being like, I came here to like experience more dance and stuff like that on top of like working. Like, I'm not even dancing right now. Like, there was a period where like months went by and I wasn't even, enjoying my place, that I was just working home, working home.
Yeah, yeah,
Not even
yeah,
enjoying the home I was in, work,
yeah,
eat, sleep kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
And so I
Welcome to New
remember,
York.
right. Yeah, but there's a beauty in that though, because I realized it didn't have to be like that, and it didn't have
Mm,
to. I It was a reflection moment of letting myself be consumed. Of I needed to make sure I started living in the moment, even if it was that one day, that one day a
yeah,
week where I
yeah,
checked in, or that one day after work where I checked in. Like looking back now, everything felt like 5 times heavier than what it could have been or it needed to be, but I didn't have the tools yet to understand how to balance those things out. And so then in that aspect, I was losing parts of the things that I enjoyed or loved. Maybe like I said, it was just like a roundabout thing, stressed out, cries here, there, like it was just
yeah,
circular,
yeah,
circular, to a point where I was like, you feel it, like, no, I'm not where I want to be right now mentally. I'm exactly where I want to be physically, but I'm not where I want to be mentally. And how can I fix that?
mm,
How can
mm,
I give myself the space and the time back that I wasn't giving myself?
mm,
Um,
mm.
and then further out, I had been teaching for almost 3 years. And then I was like, I'm done. I was like, not only was I stuck for a while, I couldn't, it was like, I talked about this for listeners out there, Reflections, it's season
Yeah,
2 finale. Um, but I talk about how it was time. Like you just feel it, like you were mentioning. You feel when it's like, even if I didn't have a job, I had no job backup plan. I was like, and that's definitely not a me thing where, okay, I'm gonna go, we're gonna figure this out. This is gonna work out. I believe it's gonna work out because I feel that it's gonna work out. It's like,
yeah,
girl, when you got to pay rent next month. Like it was that kind of thing. But I was like, no, like I think it's time, and I know something's gonna work. And
yeah.
that
And
was the moment too, where I was like, I can't live for
yeah,
financial reasons for the future. Like I need to live now. Like I'm not happy. I'm not happy where I am. I'm losing my love of my craft as a dancer, like as a choreographer, because of what the space I'm in, and
exactly,
that was not fun
exactly,
either, so
exactly.
that was
Yeah,
important.
it's like, you know, mm, all these transitions in life are propelled by something. And the beauty of it is that if you're propelled by this notion and desire to be truly happy, or truly who you're divinely meant to be,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
All these atoms got together and created you for a reason.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that that's so beautiful that you were able to do that, because it's the intent. And that's why I said those 4 words came to me in my 20s, because your intent carried you through. Your intent
It's true.
has no doubt.
Hmm.
So there might be other things around you in doubt, but if your intent, which is connected to truth, It is the very connective. If your intent is 100%, then everything else becomes secondary.
That's
Because you're being
true.
fueled by something so much deeper and broader than self. So much deeper and broader, right?
Yeah.
So those moments, treasure it, girl. Treasure it. Because a lot of people never find those moments where
Mhm.
the the intent of who they are, somehow still gets buried.
Yeah.
And they go through their whole life and they can
Mhm.
never breathe. And they're all suffocated. I remember having a friend of mine and she stopped talking to me. It was so funny.
Oh no.
For like 3 years. It was like a work friend.
Oh.
And she would talk about her husband,
Mhm.
oh, he's on my coattails. He's always holding me back. 3 years. 3 years we did lunch together. And that was the
Oh.
topic. And one
Mhm.
year I just looked at her and went, we'll just take off the freaking coat, man. And she never spoke to
Oh.
me after.
Oh. Oh.
But sometimes it's just that simple. Just take
Mhm.
off the coat. Then he can't
Yeah.
step on it no more, girl. Maybe you're not supposed to be in that coat.
Yeah.
But it's those very simple, profound thoughts that propel you, and you're like, oh yeah, shit. But sometimes we're just
Mhm.
so bogged down,
Just yeah.
and
Just
it's
wrapped
just
in it. Yeah.
distraction after distraction after distraction. That's why I always say, this whole thing about living in the moment and being present. If you
Mhm.
don't know who you are, you will not get there. If you're not
Yeah.
striving to know who you are, if you're not peeling back all the layers and getting to the core of who you are, i.e., the root,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. Sorry, people.
But that's a question then too, because I
Yeah.
wonder. I I think I've reflected on this, and I feel like sometimes those moments you can't. Because I want to be like, well, how do you turn that light bulb moment on? But I really do think it doesn't happen until it happens, which is so weird to say. Like, trying to help people out there who's listening. Like, here's how you could do it. I don't think there is a definitive
Mhm.
answer for that because you know that talking about my big moment, it's like I could have been quit and just took a leap of faith kind of thing, but I wasn't ready yet. I think, I had to go through some things to be ready. I had to learn
Yeah.
some new information. And I
Yeah.
think it doesn't happen until that information is provided to you. But what information is that is also very specific to person as well.
Yeah. Um, Such a good point.
Mm.
And again, it's like because we have all these distractions, and this, freaking thing, and
Yeah.
I'm a techie.
Yeah.
But I also understand the imbalance it creates for people. It's just
Mhm.
distraction and noise, 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 noise.
Mhm.
And I mean, I guess because I did yoga and all of that, I was doing yoga from the time I was 9, actually.
Nice.
And it's a behavior to a certain extent. And I was thinking about it today, as I was like, okay, what are we saying on this podcast? And I was thinking about, this notion of it. How do you change your mindset and your
Mhm.
behavior? Because it's a
Yeah.
behavior to stay in a constant, bit of distraction. That's a behavior. You get to
Mhm.
turn it off. You get to go
Exactly.
enough.
Mhm.
And so I do think the skills and tools have always been given to us to do it, right? And it doesn't matter your belief system or religion. At the end of the day, you're either in prayer or you're meditating, but you're finding quiet moments. I mean, I don't care if you read Taoism, Buddhism,
Mhm.
Hinduism, Christianity. I don't care. I've probably read all, I haven't read all of the Bhagavad Gita because it's like a million books with the Hinduism. But I certainly
Yeah.
read the Quran. I certainly read the Bible. I read lots of books on Buddhism, Taoism. Um, so the tools were given to us, but then I guess over time, especially with westernized, um, this sort of westernized reality that we're in, right? We're not in a reality that is driven by ancient Africa or ancient India or ancient China. We're very much in a more sort of Eurocentric Western reality. But the tools were given to us. And so
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that the same amount of time we spend, with this, or, oh, I got to go get a manicure, I got to go get a pedicure, I got to do this, I got to do this. No, you don't.
All the to-do list
Your
items. Yeah.
nails will be fine. Nobody's going to love you any better because you have fabulous nails. You might love yourself a little better, but
Mm-hmm.
you could give it up for a week and you can say, look, I'm just going to go spend time with self, with
Mm-hmm.
self, self, self. All those
Yeah.
chakras, right? All those places in your body that were taught to us for a reason, right?
Yeah.
There's so many philosophies based on this. So I think it is up to us to go seek those tools. The tools exist, but now you got to go seek them. And they come in different forms and everything, but you got to make a
Yeah.
concerted effort to go seek them. You do that, they will present themselves.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
I truly believe that. Like, if you really want it, if you really want it, really, I mean, no doubt, it will
Hmm.
present itself.
Yeah.
It might be a
But
tap on your shoulder one day that says, hey, put that phone down. Put the fucking phone down.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It may be that tree that you just walked by and it was blowing in the wind and it was beautiful. And you're like, oh, wow, look at me. I'm walking down the road. Oh, wow, look at that tree. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go back to that. No, those are
Mm-hmm.
special moments. It's like I used to tell people, since you're talking about tools and like how you get there, for years, I would say to folks, look up
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
on a beautiful night, like a full moon night. Look at it.
Yeah.
Understand the expansiveness that you're a part of
Mm-hmm.
and breathe. And a lot of times when I was a kid, I would spend days, months, I felt like living in trees. I just go up and I'd be there all day. Or I'd go up at night and I would just lose myself in the expansiveness of things. So I think there are tools out there. I think they've always been out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you got to go find them. Find the ones that work for you.
Mm, yeah.
Go find them.
Uh, And I'm glad that
Sometimes
you
it'll,
mentioned.
yeah,
Oh,
go
sorry. Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Oh.
No, I was just saying, like, it's like every river will find an ocean. And if you don't find your river, if you don't put yourself in a path, intently do that,
Yeah.
you're going to walk around lost for a long, 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 long time.
Just in a
So,
circle.
yes,
Yeah.
and it'll come. And then to your point, it'll come. And you did that for yourself. You started manifesting in your own thoughts. This isn't working. I'm going to find a different way, and it's going to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
so there you were finding your river,
Yeah.
and you're on your way to your ocean. You're probably there already. Because look at me. I'm on the introvert social hour. Look at that.
Bam.
Bam.
Yeah. Well, no. What's one, I have a few different thoughts. So one,
Yes.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it really is. I'm going to say is that simple, even though it's not that simple, but it's really that simple of like the concept of just look up and breathe and take a moment to pause. I love doing that sometimes when you're walking around the city and I'm like, I got to get to work, and I'm just like, let me just look at look at the buildings and embrace a little bit of the air, look around at people. Sometimes I just kind of do that,
Yes.
exist for a bit. Just pause. I like to pause. Like even if
Yes.
I'm moving, I'm still kind of pausing. Um,
Like a
and
tree.
yeah, yes, like a tree. um, but what's cool about that though is, or I guess cool and also difficult is even then you have those moments of light bulb and there's another moment of light bulb that you're going to need somewhere down the line. Like it truly is I mean, that's life though. It's a never
Yeah.
ending like journey of learning because for me, I'm like, that was a light bulb moment. And I'm like, okay, another light bulb moment is necessary at some point in time because like I'm doing things and I'm kind of moving through the motions, but trust and believe, like there's still stuff that needs to be figured out down the line. And I think
Oh,
I get
girl, till
excited
the
for
day
that
you
light bulb
die.
moment. Yeah, it never ends. It never
I
ends.
am significantly older than you. And I'm telling you, it's like a puzzle. And
Mhm. Yeah.
daily, maybe it's weekly, maybe sometimes it's 2 months before I see a new piece of it.
Mm,
But it's like this puzzle, but the puzzle's almost three-dimensional,
okay.
right? So sometimes the
Yeah.
pieces aren't obvious to you that
Yeah.
they're here because you're like, oh shit, like it's not just as boring and flat like a two-dimensional puzzle. It really is three-dimensional, or more. Maybe it's multi-dimensional, but till the day you die, girl, that last breath, it'll be like, oh shoot, I didn't even know that. I promise you, I feel like it's till the day you die.
I believe that 100%. And I'm proud of myself for understanding these concepts now, like you said, because it's so true. Like those manifestation moments or those moments of I kind of hit a click moment where how intent does drive into that too. Like it was intent. Like I'm gonna get this done and this is gonna happen. There's no way that this doesn't work. And it's like, okay, I applied that. How can I apply that to the other things that need to start rolling? But it really is like it doesn't happen until it happens. And
Yeah.
how do you get there? Which is like you said, it's like you got to sit in those moments.
Yeah,
I
and
think
sometimes I think I don't know what about this, how this society is constructed, that sometimes it's so difficult for us to get past our insecurities and live our true selves. I mean, I've seen it happen for me, and I'm like, oh, how come I can make these 50 things happen for somebody else and I can't make it happen for me? Like, what?
yeah,
I'm not paying attention. Why? And then you start drilling. Like, okay, well, then why am I not paying attention? Oh, well. And then you ask the next question and next question. And each of
hmm
those answers become a puzzle piece. And then
yeah,
you're still putting together the puzzle. So you're getting little answers, but it's still not always totally clear to you. And that is
hmm
the beauty of the journey.
yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I do wonder. I know you talked a little bit about like of course, like how phone or like electronics in general. I would say play a part today. But
Yeah.
what other parts do you think make it so difficult for people to be present? Today, because I think I when you mentioned that just now, I think about because how that plays a part also in like the world of social media, and I also think of like I call it like the celebrityism of it all. How we
Mm-hmm.
see people who are
Yeah.
around our ages or so and who are doing other things, and then all of a sudden that creates a loop in itself too of like, oh, I'm doing this, and then you're not present because you're thinking about other things and other people and how they're doing and what they did before to get there. So you're thinking of the past and you're thinking of your present, and you're like, well, how can I get there for the future? I think there's a lot of layers because we're all up in each other's business these days.
Well, I
So it
think,
makes it very easy to to be hard on yourself and not be present in a way. I think that's one layer. Like I said, it's layered, but I
yeah,
think that's one
that's,
piece.
no, I think you're absolutely right. And, you know, I often question two things about myself in a moment, um, in terms of my humanity and my ethos. And when I think about humanity, then I start thinking about all the things that are anti-humanity.
Mm,
And often those are the very things that are distracting me from who I
yes.
need to be. So when did humanity get defined by all these laws of men that say you need to look a certain way, dress a certain way, have a certain job, make a certain amount of money, live over here, do this, do that?
hmm
What does any of that have to do with my humanity?
hmm
Right? And you find a lot of that drives me. Um, so I've never been that person who, I think materialism
hmm
confuses us. I think,
Yeah.
um, uh, because we have a society that says you have to look a certain way, whatever, however we define
All
beauty,
the above. Yeah.
all of the above. And so you're right, all of those things are distracting. And they turn in our head, oh, if I were skinnier, if I were this, if I were that, and that, and that. And
hmm
again, it's got nothing to do with nothing because you live and you die.
And
And
it's all made
somewhere in
up.
between all of that, you wasted all this time, in theory, right?
Mm,
Just not even dealing with self. just trying to deal with everybody's perception of who you are, or
I
worse
like
yet, your own perception of who you are, because
that.
now it's been drowned. It was drowned out because
Yeah.
of all these distractions and noise and all that. So I always come back to what defines humanity for me, like my humanity, because that's what I am, right? I'm a human being. There's an energy that dictates who I am, and if I
Mhm.
feel disconnected from that, then that's not a good thing for me at all. So I'm not
Yeah.
defined by things that are external to me at all. I couldn't give a rat's ass, which is why when people go, what do you do and this and that, and I seldom talk about it, because what I do is not who I am. It's a job. Am I
Mm.
good at it? Yeah, I'm good at it. Been doing it for like 40 years. I'm good
Yeah.
at it, right? But it doesn't define me. You know what defines me? The fact that Kivana says, hey, I think of you enough to invite you to my podcast. That to me is more important than any other thing that I would have probably experienced this week, because it's based on a human connection. And
True.
the
Yeah.
fact that somewhere in all of this, you felt safe enough to say, hey, Sherra, come. So it's a testament to, okay, am I really presenting to the world who Sherra is? Who I am.
Mm.
Not what I
Yeah.
do, not where I live, not what I drive, not how I look.
Just
Who
be.
cares?
Yeah.
And I just think that you got to move away from all those things.
Mhm.
And if you don't, again, you're going to just be trapped. It'll just be this constant masquerade that you live with. And if you're living with a mask that's that heavy and deep, then it becomes you.
Mm.
And if that becomes you, you can never, ever live in that moment,
Yeah.
ever. Because you're not
Because you're stuck.
genuinely you. You're
Yeah.
something else.
Hmm.
So, I mean, like you said, it's just a spectrum of things that define how you live in that moment. It's not a theory of, oh, I'm going to live in the moment now. You're
Yeah.
always living in the moment. Living in the moment is your breath.
Hmm.
It's your consciousness. It's your awareness. It's everything about that moment. So
Yeah.
it's that's what you're ultimately striving for. Is everything I'm doing, am I in the moment? Right? Or am I now
Hmm.
trying to impress somebody, or I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that? It's like when we're in dance class. I had to find
Yeah.
a way, when you're doing that choreography at the end of the class, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of times I was stricken. I was so like, I couldn't do it. And a lot of it was because, I mean, there are times when it's like, okay, that choreography, I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
most of the times I get the choreography. And if right now, if I don't feel like I am giving you a bit of me every time I dance, then I'm not in the truth of it, and therefore I'm not present.
Mm. Yeah. That's true.
So if I'm
I'm
just
like, you
going
ain't
through
brought
the
it up. Yeah.
motions,
Yeah. That that's another thing too. I think
mm-hmm,
to connect to dance for a second there, I
yeah,
think I live in the moment in regards to what I love about taking a dance class, specifically at Ailey, because I also talked about this of like not all dance spaces give me that breath and that air to be,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Um, but going to class, even with all like whatever I was stressed about beforehand, empty. I could just focus on class. And then when I notice sometimes when class is over, I'm like, okay, now I got to do this, now I got to do that. But I think, specifically creatively wise, that's what's beautiful about it. So that connects
yeah,
back to when you think about ways you can try to start finding those live in the moment factors. What is it that brings you joy and how can you put it part of your life a bit
yeah,
more?
yeah.
And dance is one of those things of, for me, I don't want it to ever be a hobby. Like I do want it to be something that becomes bigger than that. Um, but
Good,
yeah,
because you're
yeah.
talented. To everybody out there,
Thank
she's like a fabulous dancer. Just FYI.
thank you.
You're welcome. It's true though.
But yeah, so I think about that in those moments in dance or when I'm at an aerial class and I'm like,
Yeah.
I just get to focus and exist for a second.
And
So
then you
I,
take that feeling with you. And I'm still learning
yeah,
how to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
you hold on to that for as much as you can, for as long as you can, you know,
Mm-hmm.
after that class into the next day. You
Yeah.
have to hold on to that because it really is. I mean, because the society is structured in a way that it actually promotes us into a life, this like long life of insecurity. Never enough, never good enough, never this enough, never whatever, never skinny enough, whatever all this crap is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you gotta let it go. You have to let it go. You just have to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I pray that one day I can, just like everybody else, that I could, that moment is my life,
Mm-hmm.
period.
Yeah. It doesn't have to feel separate in a way. They blend
It
beautifully
isn't.
together. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just the
Mm-hmm.
very notion that we have to say this is a little bit sad
Mm-hmm.
because it means the society that's been constructed doesn't allow us to do that.
100%. Yeah. I think for me, especially because I work in, this is going from teaching to corporate world was always like a very interesting, like, space. And so, but I look around and I see like, oh, you're consumed. Like, work is your life. You're the person who's going to email or message or worry about something at 10 p.m., even though you've already been there for like 9 hours and you're finally home. Like, for me, I prioritize,
Mm.
yes, I need some money, to fund, my dance class and things like that, but I never want that to consume me. And also
Mhm.
in regards to being in dance,
Yeah.
not letting that even be a consumption as well, but how do we feed each other? And how do I learn from it, which I'm always learning, because we, as we talked about too, like, while I feel like, oh, I can just think about dance, like I'd be stressing out sometimes too. I'd be like, girl, what was that? What was it, 5, 6, 7, 8? Like,
Exactly.
or
Like
I,
what?
yeah, or I think about like, oh, can I do this? Even, for a more vulnerable aspect, like I recently just did a performance workshop, and for me, like heavy on the introvert social hour, like I mean, you know me, you've known the beginning to now, the more social Kavana, that takes some time. Like, so when I'm experiencing people for the first time, I even get really nervous and anxious about, okay, like what do they expect from me, what's even in dance, I'm like, so getting a moment to interact more with like the choreographer and stuff, it was just like, okay, I hope, I was overthinking it. I was like, I hope, once again going back to perception, like I hope my your perception of me does not change because of an expectation, you know but I also would like to remove that feeling out of the
Yes.
dance space,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
that's why I was saying like everything's layered and there's a journey, because I might find an answer here, but there are always going to be more questions. And I'm excited to, what's great about that is the intent, there maybe is not as much punch of the intent right now, but I have an open mindset of that development in the future of where I could just exist as myself
Yeah.
in spaces. Yeah. Hmm.
That's why I will say to folks, and I said it before, that picture yourself like a river and know that you will find the ocean because every river finds the ocean, right? Unless
Hmm.
they put a dam. Uh,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
every river, by nature's law, will find the ocean. And so it's a journey. And that's the other thing you have you have to say to yourself, well, you know what? I wasn't in the moment for the last 3 days. I'll be here today. And that's
Yeah.
okay too,
Exactly.
right? It's
Hmm.
okay. It's okay. You don't have to beat yourself up. There's so many other things beating you up that even if you find a moment for 5 days, 5 minutes a day, then celebrate it.
Hmm.
Celebrate it because it's a behavioral pattern. It's a training that you do,
It
right? Every
literally.
creature is doing some kind of training on the planet, right?
Hmm.
Salmon's got to learn to swim upstream, and
Hmm.
birds have to like fall out the nest and learn how to fly.
Hmm.
So the caterpillar has to battle to become the butterfly from the cocoon. So I think that it's okay. So part of that too is you give yourself grace when you don't.
Yeah,
Don't
I
forget that
agree.
part.
Hmm. Because it is, like, the word I think of is unlearning. It's a lot of unlearning,
Yeah.
you know, and you learn things without realizing you're learning them, and then you have to then you have to realize you learn them, and then you got to be like, okay, it's time to start unlearning them. And that I feel like that's a circular, like it's a loop kind of situation
It
as
is. It's
well.
all energy.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, you'll commune with that energy. Sometimes you'll run into that energy. It's
Yeah.
all energy. So you can have so many different interactions with energy.
Yeah.
You don't know. But you give yourself some core things to keep guiding you.
Mm-hmm.
You find those things. And so on those days that are tough and heavy, you go back to them. Because I'm telling you, those 4 words that then became a whole list of other words that guide me.
It's true.
Those
Yeah.
words, it turned into acceptance and gratitude and love, and it became a
Mm-hmm.
whole bunch of other words. But those were always the 4, and still to today, if I'm having a hard day, I'll take that breath and go, okay, truth, intent, balance, patience. Right? And I'll just
Yeah.
start. And so, give yourself a mantra. It sounds
Mm-hmm.
corny, but they work
No, yeah.
because they
Literally,
bring
like,
you back. They bring you back to self. And
yeah.
you find your own mantra, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one that really works. And that's why, I'm not going to, like, great prayer, whatever it is for you, I'm in
Mm-hmm.
celebration of it.
Yeah.
Because in that very moment, you're bringing it back to self, but in the same moment of bringing it back to self, you're building the awareness of the infinite, of how infinite self is. And that should calm you down because
Mm-hmm.
it's not, again, defined by anything that you see or touch, because the universe is a whole lot bigger than that. You're a speck.
Yeah.
And so it's that constant awareness that just breathe,
Mm-hmm.
because something's got you
Yeah.
that you're not even aware of,
Mm-hmm. That's
right?
true. Yeah.
Something's got you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like gravity has, has your, like, something's got you. There's energy that you can't see or touch. It's got you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not tapping into that, yeah, it
Yeah. No.
makes those days, at least for me, a little bit harder.
I like, I guess it's not a mantra for me, but I always like just be like, okay, let's pause. Like,
Some
that's kind of
mantra.
like my check-in. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess I never considered it like that, but like that's kind of my thing of just like, okay, pause, we're gonna what and then I kind of just do
I
a review,
love
a little
that.
mental check-in kind of thing. Like I said, like
I
sometimes
love that.
I don't want to go to work, but I'm going to work. But I'm like, hey, we're in the city. Look around. Like, think about I literally did this the other day. I was like, I'm in the city, like 20 2020 and then past, like me would have been like, girl, you're in New York, like how did that happen, like, because I remember I graduated in 2020, so that was a whole thing of like, what the heck is going on, what am I doing with my life? So I was just like, let's sit for a moment, like, I know maybe you don't want to work a full like 9 to 5 situation, but let's sit, like, you have a job, like you have you can pay for these things, like how we talk about like being grateful for things, like,
Mhm.
yes, we are allowed to
Mhm.
have our struggles
Mhm.
and our question marks, but also like let's
Mhm.
sit in the gratefulness moment. I like to do those sometimes where, yeah, just be
I
like, okay,
think,
I know you don't want to go to work, but we're okay though, like think about that for a second. Yeah.
yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, first of all, it's like even when we dance and I say to people, I go, to move your body is a privilege. People go,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, it's a privilege because there's so many
Hmm.
people who can't.
Hmm.
So while you're here in this class, know that.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of how it's a gratitude thing.
Hmm.
So don't beat yourself up because you didn't get the combo. Like the fact you were moving, you were headed,
It's
like
good
what?
enough, and you came and you were present.
And
Yeah.
you came and you were present. I think a lot of times people don't, like you said, stop to pause and really go like, wow, this is
Hmm.
actually not as bad as I think it is.
Yeah. Hmm.
Right. Now, again, a lot of times when I think about even those statements, I always have to take it back to the people who are in like war torn zones, but they are my heroes and heroines and
Hmm.
everything in between
Yeah.
because they're getting up every day and living their life. So I always say, I want to
Hmm.
go spend time with you. I want to spend time with that person who is starving, and starving to the extent, where their stomach is extended and bloated, and there are 2 rice grains from dying, but they're still choosing life. So there's a gratitude and an understanding that they have that I think a lot of us lose. And
Mm.
again, they're in the moment, because the next moment is not guaranteed.
Yeah. Mm.
So I think that is something else that becomes part of the mantra, is like, the next moment is not guaranteed. The next day isn't guaranteed. The next hour isn't guaranteed. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. So now what?
So what would you change? What would you do now if
Yeah.
yeah.
If
Mm.
you had one more day to live, I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's true.
It's true though, yeah.
What?
Mm.
Okay, now what?
Mm.
You gonna sit down and complain and be bothered and stressed out? No, honey. You're gonna go out and live your best life.
Right. Yeah. No, it's so true. I cheesily enough, I think about that. Like when while there was a light bulb moment when I left teaching, because it was like I'm not doing everything that I want to do. Like I haven't really traveled anywhere or really done anything. Like I'm just, so I was thinking about
Existing.
that.
You're existing
Yeah.
and not living. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so like I know I was like, wow, I spent a lot of money last year. I'm not gonna hold you, but like that the money came back. But now I get to
Exactly.
say like I did a solo trip here.
Yes.
I like going to Disney, so like I did a solo trip to Disney World.
I
I
saw you.
yes, I'm going back again. I'm going back
I love
again.
it.
So like that I was like I want to take a train ride. I took a train ride to Connecticut and experience like New Haven for the first time just because I could, or
Yeah.
just going different places doing different things. And for me that was the thing of like, looking back, if that was the case, even though I want to live in the now, looking back, would I question anything? And now the answer is no. I take my dance classes, I take my aerial classes. Like I've been to places I want to go to. Yes, I would love to go to more places in the future, but I know what I'm capable of at this moment, and I know what I want to work towards in the future as well. But I'm okay with what's now,
Oh
and
yeah.
we'll
I
get there
mean,
when we get there. And I think that's that's something super important to. That's why I like that cliche moment, but it's a good question because like some people, the answer would be no, and so that's why I like to bring up this topic because like are you living for yourself, are you living for the society you've been placed in?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
think, again, that's part of the brainwashing and the conditioning.
Mhm.
Here comes a conspiracy theorist in me, I guess. I mean, theorist in me. But, freaking Bob Marley sung about it,
Mhm.
like, it's like he sung about lifelong insecurity, sung about, treading on the wine press,
Mhm.
um, just these conditions that we're put into. And, we have to fight it. You
Yeah.
gotta find your moments where you're like, yeah, nope,
Mm.
I'm Sherra or I'm Kavana, and I am as beautiful as everything else on this planet Earth that was created, and I'm here for a reason, and that it is a beautiful world. It
Yeah.
is a beautiful world. And there are lots of beautiful people out there, and beautiful mountains and rivers and streams
Mhm.
and birds and butterflies. And I just
Yeah.
think we forget. We forget that we ultimately live in what I consider paradise. This is
Mm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so strange. And again, I'm a technologist, and I go, we're
Yeah.
losing touch, right? Like, we're just losing touch of each other, touch
Yeah.
of everything around us. We're just losing touch. It's like, you know,
No, I agree with you. I also talked about this too recently,
hmm
with my friends. In a way, for
yeah,
me, I think living for me is fighting against that system because
yeah,
I see so many people who are wrapped up in work or wrapped up in like the go 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 of things. Like for me personally, I don't care what kind of sale you make and how big the sale is. Because at the end of the day, I still have the same salary. Like, like I'm not about to stress over that. Oh, this is due by what time because it's super important and urgent. I'll get it done when I can get it done. I will do my best for you, but it's really not that urgent. I really sit in the idea of like this is all of these things that have been put into the society that we have like grown up in, and I know it's different across the world and stuff too,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
specifically in this experience of, the American version, the United States
Mhm.
version,
Mhm.
it's like it's all made up,
It
you know.
is. It's
So
like
for
the
me, I'm like,
Matrix.
it's yeah, yeah. I'm like, nothing is real, money is fake, like, but we have to roll. We roll with it, and so if I'm rolling with it, I'm gonna roll with it my way. Like if I'm gonna have to live in this society, I'm gonna figure it out and make sure it works for me. And I think that's something that I'm in the progress of. Like
Yeah.
this podcast speak into existence. One day it's on the big screen somewhere, something like
Of
that, or
course.
my
Of course it
creative
will
ways and
be.
outlets. So I would say for the note to the people, I guess my advice as we start to kind of wrap up here, and then I want to hear your poem. My note is, are you living for you? That is the question you should ask yourself. And if you aren't, what would those steps be? What would that look like if you stepped outside of the work aspect of it, or whatever else is kind of holding you down? Like, how do you, like you even mentioned, the little small steps, if it's even an hour, of a week, if that's how you start off, giving yourself your time back, so when you look back, you're not like, oh, I didn't even do what I wanted to do. I didn't get to live in the moment because I was too busy living for the future, or looking back at what I didn't do, that I was just
Yeah.
here, all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
But that's my note. But I want to know, if you did you have any kind of like advice for people who are feeling stuck, or
Yeah.
who aren't in the
I
moment.
think I think I'm going to go back to striving to know oneself so that you are defined by your truth and
Mhm.
not the truths that are bestowed upon you.
I like
That
that.
simple.
But
There you go.
literally, yeah, literally. That's it. No, seriously.
That's what the old lady
And this is
said.
why you're here. Yeah, let me leave. You got it. Before we wrap up, though, I did want to close with your poem. I haven't
Oh
heard
my
it to the
God.
people who are listening out here, so I'm very curious to hear it as well, because Sherra does write poems as well. So,
Oh,
um,
thank
I,
you. Thank you.
yes, the floor is
I
yours.
yeah, I do. I do. And poetry, oh by the way, is a way of me being in that moment. Because it's words expressing the truth of how I feel regarding something. And when I
Mhm.
thought about this, I was like, to find those moments, you have to be aware of how you're evolving as a human being. And I was thinking about that word evolve, and I came up with this poem. And I said, to evolve past the struggling voice in your head is to evolve past every voice that said no to you. To evolve past loneliness, bitterness, and self absorption is to evolve into the interconnectivity that starts with you. To evolve past fear, pain, and doubt is to evolve to a place of awareness and knowing you. To evolve past your next and every breath is to evolve to a place of living, celebrating you. To evolve past the story you were handed at the time of birth is to evolve to a full understanding that this has already happened to you. To evolve past hate and anger is to evolve into the truth of the baseline law of loving. Who? You! To evolve past non truth, fiction, and false media is to evolve to a place where truth is the universe and love is its power. You, you're a reflection of the universe, right? You are a
Yeah.
reflection of love. You are the mirror of love. So evolve, enlighten, ignite all that is you, and be present in your journey. Starts with
Mhm.
you.
Yes. The claps are there. Y'all are clapping as well. Or snaps. Your choice. I love
So
that.
much.
I love how, literally, like you said, there's so many words that you can connect to, and how that wasn't even a word we had technically mentioned, but that's also true. Like, we are always in a constant state of like evolution, I love that.
Always.
Yes.
You're the tree.
Yes.
Tree might
Yes.
look still, and then you're like, oh, wait, it's growing. It's growing every minute, every
Mhm.
second of every day. That tree is growing like us,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Never
Yeah.
stops.
Never
Yeah.
stops.
I love that. Thank you so much. See, this is why y'all got to share the podcast and everything. You getting free poems and stuff. Okay. But thank you so much, Shara. I
My
appreciate it.
honor. My
This was
honor
such
and
a good
pleasure.
convo. Yes. Um,
Anytime.
Literally, literally. For the people out there, make sure you go to the episode description to check out what Shara is doing, check out her bio, everything like that. Make sure you are following me at the Introvert Social Hour on all the socials. And make sure you are following this podcast to stay updated when things are dropping, maybe some bonus episodes, etc., etc., etc. But other than that, get some sunshine, get some air, have an amazing week, and I will see you next week on the Introvert Social Hour. Bye.